Paul, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
having you. We have each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I'm a lucky man.
That you are.
Even if Sarah does get a little jealous.
Oh, or wait,
A
maybe I get jealous of her now.
little bit of both.
Right?
But yeah, no, everything's well. We're in an adjustment phase.
I was
Um,
saying, 'cause you got some exciting news going on.
yeah, yeah. Hey, Bob had a baby. It's boy. You
I
were,
remember that old commercial.
yeah, that was for ages ago.
Yeah, that's when collect
But yeah,
calls were a
anyway,
thing.
was that?
So that was like when collect calls were all the rage.
Yeah, I think we were in Georgia. Yeah, that was ages ago.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway, we are excited to announce the show's newest follower, newest subscriber.
Yes.
Liam James Wandry has joined the chat.
It's about time.
Yeah, he
We've
was
all been
born
looking for.
2 weeks ago today, and yeah, he's a cute little cranky old man. Well, cranky looking old man. He's actually not cranky at all. But yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
this is exciting.
yeah, it is exciting. I'm stoked. How are you doing, man?
Good. I've been just getting anxious to meet the little guy. We've brought Buddy up in so many of our Why Dad podcasts. We're talking about that, how you're prepping for that. So now that he's here, it's just I'm so happy for you, Sarah, Evie, for having that addition. And yeah, I'm yeah, no other words. I'm just so happy for you guys. So this is
Thanks,
this
man.
is this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, we're super stoked to have him and for all that means.
Mm.
And it's really significant for us too after having lost Isla. Like he does not replace Isla in any
Right.
shape or form. Doesn't make her loss any easier or less.
Mm-hmm.
But so his middle name James, if I'm not mistaken, means he who comes after or he who follows.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. So that wasn't the primary, like, it first hit our list because we liked the name.
Right.
But then when we found out that meeting, it pretty much sealed the deal.
That's
But
amazing. Well,
yeah. Just, yeah, super excited for all that entails. It's also intimidating, like just one more being
mm-hmm.
um, to not fuck up too badly. But if we do our job right to help embrace his life and
Mm-hmm.
become the person that he's meant to be and not get in the way of that
Right.
and help set him up for that. But anyway, little digression there. So but what's the plan for today's show?
Oh, I actually just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. It's a huge life event. Your first son born. Now you have two kids. Well, one's running, one's not around the house, and I wanted to talk to you about how that's been going for you, for Sarah, for just everybody, but mostly for you. Kind of just checking in, making sure you're doing okay, but also this is something exciting and something fun to share, and even maybe there's some experiences here are that you bring, like I said, you're bringing your first son home, second child home, and I don't know if that's like daunting or intimidating or anything else, but I'm sure plenty of other dads are in the same boat now. Plenty have been in your shoes, and it's just this is a incredibly big task, a big accomplishment's not the right word, is it? Like, but
On Sarah's
milestone.
part,
Well, yeah, that's yes, but for you,
I'm pretty proud of my performance early on though. So
You did good. But even
Yeah.
the anticipation, the whole pregnancy, we've talked a little bit about it with on the podcast previously. All things given, how with Isla's passing and going into this pregnancy, how there was a lot of unknowns at the beginning, and how you've now here you are holding your son.
Hmm.
So just wanted some thoughts, and what was it like? Let's start there. Just what was it like to hold your son for the first time and look at that little face?
It was neat. Yeah, that's probably an understatement. It wasn't, and I mean, I think this experience is well, I know this experience of greeting your kid is just so subjective, and it's going to change from person to person. But in this instance, I think it was just like massive relief. Like we crossed the finish line. We, well, quote unquote, just to start the next race, leg of the race, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was there. He was crying. He was breathing. Like he didn't die, and everything was good. I think I was able to breathe finally. Like I think I was waiting with bated breath for the other shoe to drop,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't happen. And I like to think that I'm an optimist, and try not to. I try to lessen the amount that I worry, because I think like worrying is suffering twice.
Mm-hmm.
But there was definitely a fair amount of that going
Understandably so.
in my mind, in Sarah's mind, and so yeah, crossing that finish line was just, yeah, a huge moment of relief. But and then there was like the emotional letdown over the next day or two as reality set in. And then there was just like the side, or the element of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
of an excitement of finally getting to meet him. It was like we were anticipating him so much, and we were like very aware of his presence. Sarah way more so than I am, for obvious reasons. But yeah, just okay, like we finally get to start getting to know him,
Yeah.
and which, like, his birth made all of that like just so much more real for me, right? Because yeah, I know he's in Sarah's womb, but like she
Mm-hmm.
could feel him move. I mean, I had probably a little bit more awareness than some or even most dads, because we were getting ultrasounds like basically every other week, so I could see him grow and continue to move in those biweekly ultrasounds. But yeah, okay, he's finally here in flesh and blood, and I can really get to know him. So I think those two things, just like relief, well, I guess three, curiosity and excitement, were the emotions that were going,
Mm-hmm.
I was having. Side note, I was talking with somebody recently, and I had heard about this before, but he had mentioned that like it took him several months to like start developing a bond, like with his baby,
Yeah.
with yeah, with his babies. And like that's a thing, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just bringing that up because I mean it shifts from person to person, from dad to dad, but not everybody's going to see their baby and just be immediately like in love with that kid. I remember when Evie was born, and like Evie was born vaginally, So doctor was there, and with the C-section, there were sheets up, so we really couldn't see what was happening. Well, we
Right.
couldn't at all, but the doctor did a good job of keeping us updated. But with Evie, like I saw as the doctor was like pulling her out, and like when it came to the final extraction, like the doctor was literally pulling Evie by her head and just like pulling, and Evie was like and twisting, and like Evie's neck was like elongated, and she's covered in
That, yeah.
all the stuff, and I was shocked. I was like, I thought it was an alien that was getting pulled out,
Hmm.
and the experience with Liam was very different. But yeah, like just point being that for some men, like they might feel a connection, a bond with their baby like early on, right away, and
Hmm.
some won't, and that's okay. I haven't looked into the science behind it,
There's got to be.
but I know it's a thing. I mean, I
Mhm.
think the obvious it's probably just the obvious thing is where like mom had 9 months and like
Hmm.
extremely intimate connection to develop a bond
Well, yeah,
with
that
the
baby
kid,
was a
and like
part of her.
yeah, exactly. And then the dad doesn't have it.
Yeah.
It's not you and I mean, in some instances, right, people meet and there's like an immediate connection, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I don't remember if we had that immediate connection or not,
Too
but
long ago to tell.
right. But let's just assume that we didn't, and like we all both had developed personalities, right? But
Right.
it still takes time to develop a friendship and develop a
Hmm.
relationship. So it is a fairly obvious conclusion to be like, okay, you don't know this kid. This kid doesn't have an evident personality.
Right. Eats and it poops. That's all it
Yeah,
does.
it sleeps, cries. So yeah, it's okay if you don't have an immediate connection.
Hmm.
But yeah, a little bit of a digression there. I
I
will
think that's
say,
a good thing to bring up, though.
yeah,
You have the experience of going through the good, and the bad, and the ugly of all of that. But to like someone like me, or like a newlywed, or an expecting parent or father, and it's just like they do get to that point and they feel that like I can I can imagine like some guy like me just being like, I feel guilty as shit because, and like you said, no, it's okay. That's it happens. It's a normal thing when you. I'm sure if we were, like you said, if we were to pull the science of it, like that's it's probably like the whole hormonal stuff that goes on. I know you and I were talking about that the other day too.
yeah,
And
which I had no idea about, or yeah, was oblivious to.
yeah, so for those that are wondering what I'm referring to, that when a new baby's born, the father has a massive dip in testosterone, and it's like the animalistic response of you ain't going anywhere, Dad. You're sticking around to raise this kid. So yeah, we were talking about just that, and how when obviously when you have lower testosterone, you're sluggish. It's hard. It feels hard to get going, and that's perfectly normal and okay. It's something that's your body does that for a reason, and you can't put that guilt or that shame. Would probably even like maybe some dads feel shame that they don't like feel that connection right away, but that you can't blame yourself for that. And it's just something that you have to be willing and accepting. This is okay. It's still my kid. It's still my son, and I'm gonna we're gonna grow up to love each other as you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it kind of highlights what we talked about in one of our earlier episodes, like fatherhood as responsibility.
Hmm.
And for those who haven't listened to that episode, like we're talking about once you're a father, like what is your responsibility as a father? Not like that everybody is has a responsibility of being a father, right? Obviously, that's not the case. But yeah, what is our duty as a parent, and it's not to be like their best friends, like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's to love them and care for them and set them up for to live the best life that they can.
Right.
And one's one's feelings are like not always necessarily aligned with that, and that's
Right.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like even if you do have a good relationship with your kid at whatever age they are, like there are going to be days where you're like, that effing piece of shit. Like we're all, but like our duty as a parent still exists and still persists.
Right. That's a very
But
good bring. Let's take that back to our getting to know yourself. We talked about being human is to be emotional, and you have to accept that emotional side of it too. Doesn't mean you get to
Mhm.
act out on it, but you can't negate you can't negate or invalidate what you're feeling and try to convince yourself you're not feeling that.
Mhm.
You just have to, like you said, continue on full of love and wanting the best for that child.
Yeah. Here's something else related to all of this, just for I I hesitate bringing some of this stuff up because I don't want to scare aspiring dads away.
You're not scaring me. I'll say that
um,
much.
but I also think that if you want to be a dad, like this information isn't going to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably better to be aware of what is possible than to be blindsided by it.
Agreed. Agreed.
And so it reminds me of this clip I saw of, oh, his name is escaping me. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Lonely Island.
Oh, Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. Thank you. But yeah, he's on some like talk show, and he was talking about like how everybody before you have kids. I was like, oh yeah, once you're a parent, you're gonna love it. There's so just the love and the cuteness and just the joy and the memories and just like
Mm-hmm.
you're in for a treat. And then as soon as the baby comes, they're like, welcome to hell. He does it better. But yeah, that's basically it. No, he said it in jest. I say it in jest, but there is an element of truth to it. It's not all unicorns and rainbows,
Right.
right? But anyway, my point was going to be that, and this isn't anything that I'm dealing with, thankfully, but 1 in 10 dads experience. So when you think of postpartum depression, like you think
Mm-hmm.
about moms often, right? But one in
Right.
10 dads experience it. I saw.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's just another thing. If just for those who if a kid comes along and they experience anything like that, where they're like, oh, feeling like in ways that they feel like they shouldn't be feeling,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, like that is a possibility, and it's normal, and it's okay, and there
Right.
are resources out there available. So, but anyway, I will say on the relationship piece, with Evie already here, there's a very obvious difference between my relationship with her and then my relationship with Liam, right? Like I have
Right.
nearly 4 years of relationship built up with her, and like
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks with Liam, right? So with
Right.
Liam, my relationship is based on a lot of like potentiality.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word? Or is
Yeah.
that okay?
Potentiality. It should be.
Like
If it's not, we'll
potential?
make it. Yeah.
I
There. Yeah. There's a lot of potential there. Yeah. We like making
yeah,
big words out of smaller words.
it is, yeah, it is a word, potentiality. Anyway, but it's built on what can be,
Right.
right? And whereas with Abby, there is that element of potential, but then also just like all of our shared experiences over the past 40 years, and so there it is easier to be like affectionate and like genuinely affectionate. What? That's not the right word, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to insinuate I'm not being genuinely affectionate with Liam, but just like there's more meat to that affection with Eddie.
Right.
Whereas with Liam, it's built on that potential, and then just like the the general baby adorable cuteness
Mm-hmm.
affection, right?
The
Um,
snuggles and
yeah. So that part is interesting. Yeah.
how's it different this time around?
So I thought it was going to be. I, I mean,
Okay, let's
I
go
think
through what you thought it was going to be and how it's different.
yeah. Can you hear me over, Sadie?
Yeah.
She's barking like hell in the background.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So I thought naively so. No,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that it was might have been naive before, but I thought that it was going to be easier this time around than it was with Evie, because we knew what we were getting ourselves into. It wasn't our first rodeo. Like, we had better routines and habits in place,
Mm-hmm.
but we hasn't met that, and mainly just because since Sarah had to deliver via C-section, and she had to deliver early because of the type of C-section that was done with Isla.
Mm-hmm.
Liam is, like, they call him late preterm,
Okay.
so not quite a preemie, but definitely on the early end. And they had to give him shots to help develop his lungs, like, before he was born, to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that to reduce the risk of any NICU stay. But one of the things we weren't expecting, and didn't realize was a thing, is like, when you're born that young, you're like, some muscles in your mouth and neck that allow you to
Mm-hmm.
to suckle, are not fully developed. So it's harder for those young babies to nurse at the breast. And Sarah, like, really wants to breastfeed. She did with Evie, and she just really loved the bonding that comes with that, and like being able to provide in that manner. And that has been a struggle this time around. And, like, long story short, like, she has been breastfeeding him for a little bit, and then she has to pump, and then I supplement with a bottle, to make sure he's but he gets tired when he's eating. And
Good.
so we just went to the doctor for a second time, and like, we didn't see there wasn't any weight gain, which is stressful and concerning. The doctor wasn't at a point where he thought it was concerning, but like, we're
To you as
concerned.
parents, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different story.
And there were like points with Isla where it's like, doctor wasn't concerned, right? And then,
Mm-hmm.
like, the worst possible thing happened. So it's been stressful in that regard. There's been less sleep as well, because the night sessions are longer. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I looked out with Evie because Sarah was breastfeeding, so I wouldn't have to necessarily wake up when Evie was hungry. That was all
Right.
Sarah. And then she would wake me up if Evie wouldn't go to sleep, so then I would take over. But, you know, I just had to hold her until she fell asleep, and I could do
Mm-hmm.
that, with minimal work. Whereas now we're both working to feed him at his night feeds. So practically speaking, that has been different, and it's been more stressful and more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
The Having Evie is also different. Like, she's nearly 4, so she's pretty capable at a lot of things, like going to the restroom. Like, she can eat on her own. She can entertain herself. But, like, we can't just sleep in. Like,
Right.
when she wakes up at 7, between 7 and 7:30, we have to be up.
Right.
She needs time with us. She needs quality time with us.
Mm-hmm.
When we were sleep deprived with her, if we bit each other heads off, like, that was fine. Like, we could deal with it, but like, we can't take it out on Evie.
Right.
And there have definitely been trying moments, and like, moments where I have not been at my best. to put it mildly. And like that part is a challenge. Like, how do I be the dad that Evie needs and deserves,
Mm-hmm.
like with without operating at full capacity?
How's she
So
handling
that
the adjustment? Because it's got to
she's
be an adjustment. Now she's got a baby brother, and there's a lot going on.
yeah, she's doing fairly well. She's interested in him. Like one morning, like she woke up and I was already downstairs, and she's like, "Where's my like?" The first thing she asked, like, "Where's my baby brother?" And yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
she always like she wants to check in on him. We talked to her like you got to wash your hands, so she was
Mm-hmm.
really good about washing her hands before touching him. She'll hold him now and then for 10 to 30 second spurts.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest thing for her is like not having, as one might expect, our undivided attention. And night times have been like I think we've been adapting like well, but in especially up front, like night times were hard because I do nighttime routine, and then after I do my nighttime routine, like Sarah will go in and say goodnight, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
when well would typically lay with her for a little bit and rub her back, and because of Liam's feeding schedule, that hasn't always been possible, and so she really feels that lack, and so it's been an adjustment on our part to make sure that she's getting quality time with us and not be feeling left by the wayside. And I got some good advice from other parents as well, and they're like, that has been helpful. Let them feel involved. If it's time to dress Liam, like have them help pick out the outfit, or if it's time to change him, have them get the diaper, get the wipes, open the diaper. And Evie has enjoyed doing some of those things. I think the other challenge is, which is a fine line, but she doesn't know how to be like, she still doesn't know how to be fully gentle, right? So she'll take his arm and shake it around, or like he's in his swing and she'll swing it even harder. And there's two behaviors going on there that might be addressed. And one is the good behavior of being interested in Liam
Right. Mm-hmm.
and like caring for,
Yeah,
and the
wanting
other
to
is
be
like,
a good big sister.
yeah, and the other is like being rough because she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know, right?
Right.
So, and we haven't been, I've like been far from perfect on it. But it's so easy to want to, which is my tendency to jump, no, stop shaking him, or like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Obviously, his safety is priority, right?
Right.
Don't want him to get injured, or, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, it's like I don't want to like discourage that interest and
Right.
that her level of caring. So
Like
we're still figuring that out.
her ability to develop her own relationship with Liam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if it's every time, no, stop shaking the baby. Stop. Well, obviously, if you're shaking the baby, but stop shaking the baby's arm, or
Yeah.
stop swinging him, or whatever. It's like if
Mm-hmm.
she keeps hearing that, then she's, oh, okay, I'm just going to stay away from the baby then, and like maybe
Right.
resent the baby. But no, I mean, she hasn't asked to send him back yet, so I, I take that as a good sign.
Right.
And I think there was the benefit of her being nearly 4, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know things are harder if kids are younger, like 2 or whatever. Like, they don't understand as much or as well. But I think we did do a good job of preparing her ahead of time. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
baby brother's going to come, and there's going to be some changes, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is what we need from you, and what you can do. And I think that she has done well. I think the other thing that helped is she's in daycare, and over the past year, they had 2 infants. Who started at 6 months, and then they've recently turned 1. So she at
Mm-hmm.
least was familiar with the concept of a baby being there that demands attention and assistance and what have
Right.
you. So I think that was good preparation too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. I don't know what I was gonna ask. Darn it. Lost, lost my question, Paul. But no, that's actually quite amazing to hear, and I think that's like you said, you got that advice. Let them feel involved, and especially like for her because I know her pretty well. I'd like to say, and just how involved she likes to be in everybody going on, and to be able to have that part of that part in her brother's life, like you said.
Mhm.
Oh, help pick up the clothes, or Mom, we need your help. Can you grab us the stuff? Because we gotta take care of Liam right now. And just like you said, making them involved in like everybody's involved. So there's none of that like the baby's more important than you are type of
Right. Yeah,
undertones that could be portrayed.
yeah, and that's something that I'm sure we'll have to continue to be sensitive to and continue to navigate. But as you brought that up, another thought came to my mind about what's different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's especially different is even though he's only 2 weeks old on the date of this recording, he his personality, like what shows through of it,
Yeah.
is so different from Evie's, and part of it might change, and because it might be just because he was born so young
Mm-hmm.
and he's just tired and sleeping. So maybe as he gets more energy and is awake more, that might change. But like right now, so Evie, I mean, her like high
Yeah.
energy, just like vivacious and soaking everything in and like being involved in everything, like you said, doesn't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was a baby, like there was a there's a lot of crying, and it's like it wasn't just you feed her. There's like the what is it? Three basic needs. Are they hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Are they are they tired? Do they have a dirty diaper? Right. Those are the three basic, and then like fourth could be like they're feeling sick or
Right.
have some indigestion or whatever. But like all those things could be checked off, and like she would still be fussy. But with Liam, it's just those basic check boxes, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
either he's tired and okay, and then you like start rocking him, he falls right asleep, or he's hungry and you give him a bottle, he's done. Or the worst of it is he needs to burp or poop, and
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty easy to work through. And then when he's awake and when he's alert, he's just sitting there, just soaking it all in.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I think this would be consistent with how we know Evie today, but she needed like constant like involvement from the parent
Right.
to be content. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Liam, you could just put him in if he's fed and clean diaper and not tired, you put him in his bassinet and he's just looking around, soaking it all in. So I don't know if that's going to maintain itself, but
Maybe
that
you're onto something there. Yeah.
that is different. Which, if that does, that will be quite the surprise because we're like, goodness, if I mean, I love Evie. I wouldn't change anything about her, right? But
Right.
like, she is. How do I put this in a way that when she listens to this in 20 years, she won't
She's a go-getter.
hate me? Yeah, she's a go getter. Yeah, she's a go getter. So anyway, but she requires a lot of involvement, which is great, and we love it.
It is. Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see how that. I'm excited because that is going to allow her to do so many great things with her life as her life goes on.
Abs.
And I was like, but before Liam was born, I was like, goodness, if that's Evie, and boys are typically crazier than girls, like, oh god. So and who knows? Maybe I'll be eating my words in 6 months,
Oh, those two are gonna
a
get into a
year,
lot of
5 years.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, but as of now, it's a blessing. Yeah, we have these
Mm-hmm.
challenges with getting weight on him and feeding him, but
Yeah.
everything else is like chill. He's a chill dude.
Mm-hmm. So I know we only have 5 minutes left, but through all of this experience, 2 weeks of having a newborn at the house, what would you what are words from the wise to all of us expecting dads, aspiring dads? dad's just trying to figure other stuff out. Like from your perspective, like what would you really want to share through all of that? What you the short time that it's been so far.
That's a really good question, Andrew. I think it would be something along the lines of what you and I were talking about before we started recording,
Hmm.
which is a little bit of a realization that I'm having, and that's that each new chapter in one's life, like whether it's a new level of education or a new job or a new location or new relationship status or whatever, that's going to come with its learning curve, right? And it's going to come with the storming phase, right? What storm, norm, form, storm, norm, whatever,
Hmm.
like of teams, right? But it's going to come with that storming phase. But that's just part of the process. And maybe this is I'm just telling myself this to stay the path,
Right.
but it's part of the process. And I believe that if I stick to it and Sarah and I like continue like working together and striving to be the parents that we want to be, and yeah, it's hard, and yeah, we're sleep deprived, and yeah, like we're effing up a lot and dropping the ball and whatever in some areas, in other areas, like the ideal isn't to be perfect, right? But the
Hmm.
ideal is to just bring ourselves back to our path, that path that is locked into the the trajectory of our purpose.
Hmm.
Um, and right now, I feel like shit blew up,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I'm on that path. And so, okay, I just gotta reassess, gotta readapt, and gotta slowly make my way back towards that. So, all that is to say that I don't think that having a kid is any is much different in the grand scheme of things from a lot of those big life changes. Like there's a
Yeah.
big shift. You have to Branches are going to get thrown in gears, and your life is going to it could be thrown into upheaval.
Yeah.
But you are either going to figure it out or you're not, right? But if you figure it out, you're going to become that much better of a person, have that much higher of a skill level, and know yourself that much better,
Yeah.
and you're going to be all the better for it.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if that rambling made any sense, but
No, I mean, it's something, I mean, you laid out a good point, and it's something you had to figure out by going through it. Like you said, you come off the path and you have to get back on the path. You can't jump, you may not necessarily be able to sidestep right back onto it, but getting yourself back on there to be the best parent that you want to be, that you know you have to be, that you've set out for yourself. I mean, that's what I got out of it. I think that's what you were trying to say. So it made sense.
yeah, yeah, sure. No, good stuff.
So I know you
No,
got to
thanks,
run.
buddy.
So yeah, we'll end it here. But it was good to talk to you. We haven't talked since Liam has been born, so I'm glad we were able to have this chat and catch up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, thank you, and thanks for the questions, and hopefully it wasn't too rambly. And
No.
but yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Yes. And yeah, you got to see another intimate side of us. Rather, we're not just all habits and virtues. We're real people too.
Mhm.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
thank you all. Thank you, Paul. Thank you all. We'll
thanks,
see you
Andrew.
later.
All right, love you guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.